India-US relationship has moved forward at a good scale. We have seen the visit of the Indian Prime Minister to US earlier this year, and also the visit of the US President Joe Biden to India for the G20 summit. With me is Mukesh Aghi, who is the president of the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum. Sir, without wasting much time, my first question to you is, how do you see India-US relationship, if you can sum up how this year has been?
Well, I think the relationship has gone in a very positive direction, in a win-win fashion for both countries. If you look at from a geopolitical perspective, India and US are aligned vis-a-vis China. When you look at from an economic perspective, the trade has gone up almost $200 billion. When you look at from a technology perspective, what we're seeing is the exports of Indian IT services and basically app platforms have gone up, and also we're seeing some critical technologies moving into India, specifically in the manufacturing arena. And then finally, people to people, we have around 5 million Indian Americans in the US, and they seem to work very positively, building a very strong partnership between the two countries. So I think year 2023 shows that how it has gone up in the last, compared to last 40, 50 years.
So how much are the American investors bullish on the India growth story?
Oh, very much. If you look at the largest FDI investors in India are the US companies coming directly or through Singapore or through other countries itself. But more important is if you look at the last 1 week, the FI investment went up almost by $15 billion. You have US companies creating almost 3.5 million jobs in India, which are high-tech, high-end paying jobs. So the other factor which makes a very big difference is US companies are looking at de-risking supply chain from China, and India becomes a primary source from their perspective.
So we know that India had invited the US President Joe Biden to be the chief guest at the Republic Day parade. Now that's not happening. We also saw the announcement by the US Ambassador Garcetti that India has extended the invite. Any reason do you think that the visit is cancelled, that the US President could not make to the grand show that we see every year at the Kartavya Path?
Well, I think the President Biden would have loved to come for the Republic Day parade, but you have to understand multiple factors. One is you have the State of the Union speech and trying to juggle that, which is also again in the third week of January, and that becomes a challenging aspect. Second is you are going into the election mode in the US. That also becomes challenging. And then the crisis which is taking place both in Ukraine and also in Gaza basically binds the president to be both here domestically rather than traveling to a far distant geography such as India. I don't think there is any kind of intention or any kind of I would say lack of respect of the invitation. I think it's more about trying to work the schedule out, and I think the Quad summit also has been postponed to later dates. So I think President Biden will come to India once we have been able to tie the schedule between the two countries and also remaining Quad leaders.
So the relationship has grown leaps and bounds, but there are certain thorny issues as well. There are Khalistani extremists in US that is troubling to New Delhi, and then there is the Nikhil Gupta case as well. Do you think that the Americans could have handled the Nikhil Gupta case better?
Well, you have to understand that the relationship is deep, much broader, and much more strategic between India and the United States. More important is there is maturity on both sides. India respected US respected India's difference on purchase of Russian oil, and basically US accepted that and moved on. So I believe there's maturity on both sides to be able to respect each other's position and differences. In the case of Gupta, I think we have to understand the Justice Department tends to function very, very independent than the administration. especially southern district of the New York state. And if you look at, in fact, they also have indicted President Biden's son from that perspective. So I think the position of Justice Department does not reflect the position of the administration, which is focused on building the relationship. And I believe that there's enough maturity on both sides that the administration, especially the White House, had not come out swinging at India in any manner, but basically saying that India is cooperating in the on the finding the cause of this issue. And I believe that they will able to sort this one out.
So I believe that Vibrant Gujarat will see participation of a lot of American investors and perhaps you as well. What's your view about the Vibrant Gujarat that happens in Gujarat in the month of January, in a few weeks from now?
Yes, we are leading a delegation of over 50 plus companies for Vibrant Gujarat. This is one of the pioneering invest event which started in Gujarat and other states have copied. It is an area to explore more and more investment into Gujarat. And it's not just only Gujarat. I think it's going to be all across India. So what we will be looking at is more contact with the administrations, including the Prime Minister in Gujarat. So as I said earlier, the interest in India, the investment in India from US company continues to grow. Both from a de-risking from China, both from market opportunity. So it is an event which you will see a lot of US companies participating in the mid-January in Gujarat itself.
So my last question to you is, it's just not directly related to India-US relationship, but on the Red Sea situation that has implication on the global crude oil prices and the trade as well. What's your view? How do you see the crisis impacting the global economic sphere and, of course, the crude oil prices?
So I think it does impact the supply chain. When you have, let's say, a ship going from the Middle East all the way down to Europe, normally through Red Sea it takes 21 days. Now when you go around Africa and down to Europe, it'll take 42 days. The implications are multiple. One is you have containers basically being occupied by the goods extra 20 plus days. So the efficiency goes down, the cost goes up, the insurance goes up. And when you look at it from an India perspective, I think India exports its rice, which has to go to, basically to other part of the Europe. It has an impact of 10 to 15% on the export side. It is impacting the oil. Indian oil, which is coming from Russia, will get impacted from a price point perspective, from a logistic point perspective. So it is disruptive. And we have seen the impact of that not only just on food prices going up, but oil prices going up in the United States and Europe. So the disruption in Red Sea will impact the food prices, the oil prices, and overall inflation across the world.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION and giving us an overview of India-US relationship. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thanks, sir.